Welcome to a new update, and today we're going to discuss the top altcoins that I'm looking at for October. It's going to be massive, it's going to be great. Everything is going to move heavily, and even the police is coming to get me to be less bullish on the markets. That's completely fine, and I hope you're going to enjoy this update. So before that, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also do not forget to like this YouTube update and to check out my Twitter and Instagram, as that's where I'm posting more daily content regarding the markets. So when we're looking at the markets at this stage, we can see that some certain categories have not been moving at all yet, through which we can assume that we're going to have some continuation happening on those. And as you can see on the chart itself, we are having a first real coin that we can discuss as the first coin of the top coins that I'm looking at, which is still the Oracle section. And they have been absolutely disastrous throughout 2021. They have not been providing the gains that we wanted it to be gaining, but I think the time has to come, and not only Oracles overall, but also some certain other altcoins will have to be doing quite well in the coming period. So looking at the Oracle section, you have to look at the Bitcoin pairs. The Bitcoin pairs grant you a ton of information, and what we can see here with Chainlink is that they have just witnessed a very harsh corrective move in 2020, and since then some nice rallies, but that one got crushed through the corrective move of Bitcoin. And since then we have been accumulating, and we have been going sideways with Chainlink, through which we can assume that there's still a breakout to be happening, or at least a new bullish move to be happening. And when Chainlink is going to run, you are quite sure that the rest of the oracles will follow suit. Looking at the price structure of Chainlink, and we are looking at Bitcoin pairs, as Bitcoin pairs show you the information that you need if you want to gather information whether it's going to outperform or underperform a Bitcoin, and that's ultimately the goal that you want to achieve, right? So Chainlink currently back into support, through which we might be getting a breakout quite soon, and if we're going to get a breakout relatively soon, I think we're going to squeeze and get ourselves a new higher highs. Because what is happening at this stage? Well, we can already conclude that we might be facing a new uptrend here, right? So we've got this low, we've got new higher highs that are constantly being made. We've got higher lows here too, only barely. So once we hold this higher low here and we start to crawl back up, this resistance is the one that we have to break. Probably we'll be having some consolidation here. And once we break through it, the first real target zone is the area around 8,000 sats. So at this stage, I think that Chainlink is still in the area of interest if you want to gather a position on this one. And I think that's completely fine. It's just ready for a breakout. Second one that I'll be discussing here is something that's called a DeFi. Do you still remember it? Yes, I do. It's called a DeFi. It's great. It's the future. There's tons of money to be made in it. Some people are yield farming. Some people are using their NFT to stake and yield farm that staking, and then use that as a borrowing for the next project, but whatever. DeFi is still a category that didn't move at all yet. So the entire space, Aave, Synthetics, Curve, Balancer, all of them have not been doing too much, so they are still ready for a big breakout. And when I'm looking at the construction of Curve at this stage, I really start liking the pressure or the flip that we've just been witnessing. So this entire structure is still accumulation. The one that we clearly have to break through is the one at 8,500 sats. If that one breaks, I think we're in for a big impulse wave, and the first real one since Curve got listed. But what we also do see is that Curve has been seeing this beautiful retest here, a beautiful structure in which we most likely going to see continuation towards the resistance here, before we are having some slight consolidative periods towards the area here, and then we're going to break out at some stage later, through which Curve is probably one of the projects that I'm very pleased with, but the entire DeFi section is the one to watch. Also, this one is still one that I'm looking at for a big breakout up, and we might be facing around towards 8,500 sats in October. The third one that I have is a Scale. Layer 1s are doing great, and we've had this beautiful retest on Scale initially, just barely. And Skill has seen, like, layer 1s are doing great, which means that layer 2s are most likely going to follow suit. However, Skill is still stuck inside this range, broke out of the accumulation range initially, and now it's back onto retesting that support or that resistance for support here. So this entire level that we have around 725 sats, that is the level that we have to sustain to. And actually, if you want to have support being or holding here, the entire region between 650 to 725 is the one that we should be watching for Skill if you want to get yourself into a position. So same conclusion as with Chainlink. Heavy corrective move due to the fact that Bitcoin has seen some weakness, and as Bitcoin is breaking back up and showing some strength and most likely is bottomed out, we're going to see altcoins breaking out left and right, through which we can see continuation happening. And the structure here is quite comparable to the structure that we have here, in which we just crawl back up, constantly making new higher lows, which is the fact at this stage, and then we are ready for another run towards the high here, which is most likely going to take place in October, and most likely in November we're going to have this breakout towards the range highs, which is around 1400 sats, before we are going to have the new impulse, probably final impulse wave on Skill. So layer 2s is the one, or is the category that I have got on the list at this stage, as I'm assuming that those will be breaking out nicely. Fourth one is the graph. Still in a downtrend, very comparable chart to Skill at this stage, and is eager to reverse the trend at this point. So we're looking at a structure where we are still back into support. We can see that we have been making lower highs, lower lows. Overall, we've made this lower low here, but since then, higher highs, higher low. Area to break is the area around 1850 sats. If that one breaks, the entire structure breaks, and we most likely are going to print a new higher high around the area of 3000 sats before we're going to have a correction and start running upwards even more. So this one is also on the list. It has been underperforming in the past months, and actually in 2021 only has seen one impulse wave. But if support sustains here, and that's also the conclusion that you're going to get from Chainlink and from Skill, for instance, is that if it continues to make higher lows, then there is a most likely breakout going to take place, and then the levels that you have to watch are the ones like this, as the trend starts to reverse towards higher highs and higher lows. The final one is a new one that I've not been discussing too much, but it's looking great. I've covered it in one of the requests, in which I stated that people became bearish here, assuming that we would be having a further corrective move on the markets, and this one was the low of Bitcoin at 28k, and after that the price has been reversing all across the markets. It's an old chart, which means that I initially thought we would be getting a higher low here, but it shows you that if the market is reversing, it is not granting you the best entry that you want, through which continuation is most likely going to take place and leaving you behind if you want to look at those orders. Therefore, always buy when you're feeling scared as shit and everybody is bearish as shit. That is usually a sign where you want to get some entries going. What we also do see with Rune at this stage is that we had a beautiful retest of this order block here, right? And that retest has also been done by Curve, and those retests have been done by Cardano, Ethereum, and some more projects have been having such a beautiful retest. But when I see this big bounce back up, I'm assuming that we're going to grant ourselves some slight consolidation, grant ourselves a higher low, and then we start continuing. Also, the trend has shifted here, higher high, higher lows. So if we continue to move, this higher high has to be taken out. And then I'm going to look at targets around 31 to 34, which is almost making it a 2x on Rune as well. So the market is ready for a new breakout. The markets are doing fine and expecting them to continue to do well. I'm assuming that altcoins will start outperforming Bitcoin heavily. I've discussed 5 today, and I'll be discussing them in about 2.5 weeks from now to update how they are going, as I've been doing with September as well. If you have enjoyed this content, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, do not forget to like the YouTube update and have a wonderful weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow with a fresh new update on a new category, which is fundamental, and we're going to discuss Avalanche. See you again soon.